You guys, 5:30 in the afternoon at CES. You guys are troopers. I mean, we're here in Las Vegas. From what I've heard of this city, there are other diversions. You know, there are things to do. Yeah, no, you guys are awesome. Folks on the live stream, especially back home on the East Coast, you know, why not just watch dinner and learn a little about speedlights? Nothing could be more fun, right? Turn off NCIS, turn on some speedlights. Anyway, here we go. Appreciate you being here. Very honored by your presence. Very honored that Nikon would assemble such a wonderful group of photographers, and to be a small part of it is definitely something that, you know, is unexpected and wonderful. So my hat is off to everybody here on the Nikon team. This is not easy to do. So very, very happy to be here in Vegas. And what I'll try to do over this next half an hour is make it as productive and as fun as we possibly can and go forward. If anybody has like a serious kind of like, hey, I just gotta ask this kind of question right now, we can accommodate that too. You're gonna have to kind of shout, you know, because this is not the most reserved and quiet of environments, let's put it that way. It's also just a wonderful place. I'm gonna do some live shooting. Isn't that everybody's favorite thing to do on stage in front of like 50 or 60 art directors and then a couple of thousand out on the live stream, you know, especially in a wonderfully graphically pleasing environment such as this. I would describe this as a cluttered environment. We'll see what we can do to minimize that. And the way we'll minimize it is hopefully to manipulate light in a positive way. Dixie Dixon said it earlier. Every ambassador, Deanne Fitzmaurice is over there. All these wonderful talents will tell you, right? Light is a crucial issue for us, right? The very word photography, photographos, comes from a Greek root, which means to write with light. And that's how we tell our stories. That's how we inform our readership. Okay, and that's how we describe the emotions and feelings that we see in the field and we are feeling when we have an eye in the lens. So I'm going to show you a few examples, okay? So bear with me, I'll rattle through them fairly quickly. All right, here we go. All right. Oh, there you go. That's me, by the way. Nikon ambassador. All right. All right. Some folks, you know, have looked at me over time and said, oh, dude, you need like 10 speedlights to make a photograph. Not true. I work as simply as I possibly can. If the light is good, I'll leave the lights in the trunk of the car. This happens to be one raw speedlight. No light shaper, handheld, couldn't be simpler. Okay, this, 2 speedlights. Okay, 2 speedlights tucked into the cockpit of this biplane, and I'm sitting in front of him. I have a 1424 over my head. I have an infrared transmitter. I'm trying to keep my fat head out of the lens. I'm ducking down, and I'm looking in the rearview mirror as the 2 other biplanes come up on us. And you know that thing on your, you know, your car rearview mirror? Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Yes, okay, they were coming right up our tail. Fun shot to do. Again, though, I work really simply. This is the Bronx. This is Nick, a good friend of our studio, who's a tremendous character actor based in New York. He was in the John Wick movies, and that's the only light here, and he can produce that. 1 speed light, okay, under the L in the Bronx in New York City. And there's Nick. I'm honest about everything I do in the field. Complete accident that we liked. We were manipulating the speed light, fussing with it, right next to our studio truck, which is black. And all of a sudden, the light went off and flashed off of the truck, and I looked at the LCD, and my assistant, Callie, looked at the LCD, and we're like, that looks pretty good. I wonder if we can do that again, you know? Not my intent, but there it was, you know? So we liked it, because Nick, given the talents he has as an actor, is this wonderful, gregarious guy. But then you tell him to go in character, and he plays a lot of mob guys, and he'll immediately go in the character, and he looks like he's gonna kill you, you know? Fun to do, okay? Folks, again, you know, I work very simply when I have to. This is in Las Vegas, in a friend's living room. Not a big studio, not a big production. You can count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 speedlights, okay? And Jolie, who's an absolutely wonderful dancer, she's in La Rev right now at the Wynn, and we produce that. okay? And that's Speedlights. If I can produce light like that from a small flash, I'm good to go. You know, I have fun with these things. I experiment with them. There's a little beauty shot of Jolie. There is the wonderful and lovely Natalie. She's a Scottish dancer who also, FYI, little personal information, happens to be the girlfriend of our crew chief. So it's nice to have someone who's related to the studio who looks like this. And it's like she's my ace in the hole, you know? It's like, go to. Oh, what do we need an attractive person? Natalie, pretty wonderful. There's Andrew Tomasino, a wonderful young photographer based in Pennsylvania. Again, this is a friend's living room. Okay, and I'm shooting this with 2 Speedlights in 2 small softboxes that are called Speedlight 2s. And there's Andrew, the dude of dudes. Okay, there he is. All right, simple 2-light combination. These little Speedlights, I use them a lot. They're called Speedlight 2s. I helped Light design them. They're fun. We'll use them on stage today. Okay, I self-assign, right? Nobody asked me to do this. I went to a coal mine in Kentucky because I've always been fascinated by the idea of work, of labor, of intensive physical labor. And I went down by myself, no assistant, and I commandeered a shed. It's a privately owned mine. They said, yeah, sure, the guys will pose for you. I made sure they've all gotten prints. I did group shots. They got 16 by 20s that are hanging now in the admin office at the mine. You got to take care of your subjects. Because these fellas look at me like, this is southeastern Kentucky. I'm from New York City. Okay, what are you exactly up to, fella? And all I tried to explain to them was I wanted to honor their work. So these are all done with Speedlights. This is on location at Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn. Wonderful boxer. And a crazy guy with a blowtorch or oxyacetylene torch in a garage. Yeah, you walk in, it's a very dark garage. 9 Speedlights later, it looks like this, okay? And a good character actor. Okay, this was kind of a riff on noir films. We kind of did a series where we were using the SB5000 in a way that you really needed the radio control. You could not do a job with just line of sight. So we embarked on a noir project with this lady who is absolutely wonderful. That's the Blue Bar at the Algonquin Hotel in New York City. Transformation. You know, she walked into the studio completely unadorned. 6 hours later, she looked like this, lit with Speedlights. Okay? I have fun with these things. Friend of mine, photo enthusiast, called me up and said, Joe, I'm getting married. They didn't have too much dough. Said, I'm hesitant to ask. I said, dude, I'm there, you know? So I shot his wedding. We got on the subway, we went down to New York City, the Marriage Bureau in New York City, where hundreds of people get married every day. People from all over the world, different languages, cultures, colors, beliefs, creeds, you name it. The only reason they're there is to look at another human being and say, you are my beloved. And I had the most fun I've had, like, ever in this environment. And so I suggested to Nikon, and Nikon, God bless them, they occasionally listen to me, which is a bad move, nutty ideas. I said, look, I was there. All the pictures getting shot there with smartphones and stuff, they suck. So we made a box truck, a 20-foot box truck into a photo studio, and we parked it outside of City Hall, and we shot 80 couples over 2 days, and sent them home, all home with a USB stick with their wedding photos. It was so much fun. You can get complicated if you want. I don't recommend this, okay? This is an all-day extravaganza. You kind of break your heart and die sometimes when you're just trying to figure this stuff out. But the end result, worth it, fun, okay? Personality, Little Joe Lasseter, the legendary drummer at Preservation Hall. All my lights are on the street. There's 2 old dirty windows in Preservation Hall. He's looking through one of them. All my lights are outside. And then I just concentrate on the relationship that I have with Joe at the camera. Okay? Couple of crusty old rockers. Okay? The Kentucky Headhunters. I just put my lights where the light's supposed to be. There's a window over here, and there's a doorway over here, so I just put lights where the light already is. Is this beautifully lit? No! No. It's kind of driven by what exists. It's a little bit of character lighting. These guys, I mean, look at those faces. Are you going to bring in a 6-foot octa and do a beauty glamour light? No, no. Inappropriate comes to mind. Okay? That is Johnny Cash's niece, okay, in Nashville. Fallon Rivers, wonderful young lady, beautiful young lady. And then that's Callie, that's our crew chief in our studio, leaping over a wall. Callie's very athletic. He was my test subject for kind of a bit of a Speedlight extravaganza that we did recently in Brooklyn, New York, with parkour athletes. 6-foot silk, you can see the Speedlights up in there, and we came up with that. High-speed sync, a lot of light. Tough shot to do because you think like, oh, it's simple. It's not. She's crossing over the lens at a very rapid rate, very close to the lens. The camera has to make an instantaneous autofocus decision. The lights have to respond in an instant, okay? And you have to fight off what your biggest enemy right now is, the sun. So you have to push back against that. So that's what these things give me the ability to do, is hopefully, instead of be a victim of circumstances, I'm able to walk into a situation and at least level the playing field, okay? Because let's face it, the world is not set up for photographers, right? When was the last time you got a call from a client that said, you got all the time in the world and an unlimited budget? Had a call like that lately? No, neither have I, okay? We're expected to work smart, fast, intuitive, and deliver sophisticated results. Okay, despite the odds. You know, ever notice when you deliver to a client like 3 weeks after the shoot, nobody remembers it was raining? Like, wait a minute, it just doesn't look, the sky's gray, you know? It's like, really? Seriously? Anyway, but that's it for examples, okay? You can follow me on Facebook and all that sort of jazz, joemcnally.com, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to bequeath this clicker because it's a dangerous instrument in my hands. And I'm looking at Mark Kettenhoffen, my longtime bud. He's running a live stream. All right, we'll put this over here. So if you were confronted with shooting a picture in front of a crowd like this at CES, what would you do except say no? Which is the far more prudent course of action. I don't know. Now, well, one of the first steps we've done, and this helps me, you know, just turn things around, is we've hired Ariana, just wave, you don't have to get up right away, who's going to help me up here. Absolutely lovely young lady who is going to be our model, our subject today. So that's a point in my favor, for sure. Okay, now if I look out here, thank you, Andrew. Cool. If I look out here and I do, let's say an aperture priority at ISO 400, what's going to happen out here? I do that. Lovely. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah. Yeah, great, thanks. Thank you for coming by the Nikon booth today. Really, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you. No, thanks. No, that's kind of awful, you know. Let's see if we can get a, like what the camera thinks, okay? 0-0 aperture priority. Okay, looks like I'm a little nervous up there, don't you think? You know, good Lord. All right, so that's a tough nut to crack, right? How do you simplify that? How do you direct attention to your subject? What is our job? Our job is to psychologically direct our viewer into an area, a zone that we think is important, the message we want to convey. Think of lighting a photograph not as lighting. Think of it as sending a powerful psychological message to your viewer. Face it, and speakers up here today have already said this, our eyes go to light areas. We are physically programmed. I'm looking at you guys now, you know, dressed in your dark sweaters and in shadow down in here. By the way, nice choice of wardrobe. All of you look like you're equipped to go to an Irish wake. I mean, what's going on, you know? But my eyes, I can feel the gravitational pull of my eyes. It wants to go up here to these brightly lit banners. Why do you think they're brightly lit? They want you to look at them, okay? So, light is a powerful motivator. So in a photograph, lighting this, but not that, is not really lighting. It's talking to your viewer. You're saying to your viewer, look here, not so much here. This is context, This is the main deal over here. This is the star of the show. So, Adriana, would you mind coming up here? How about a round of applause for Adriana? She's long suffering. I mean, she just had this marvelous experience with Dixie, and now she's stuck with me. All right, so good Lord. Dixie is a tough act to follow, okay? All right, so maybe, Ariana, you could step carefully to the end of the stage. Have to thank Dixie for this wardrobe. Dixie Dixon is the only person I know who travels with gowns like this. I mean, she just has them in her backpack. Oh yeah, no, I have a gold lame gown. Would you like to borrow it? Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, all right, so let's take a look here. Now, an available light picture of Ariana, if I just do this, and I kind of look at her and she's absolutely lovely. I'm at a 1/10 of a second at f5.6 at ISO 400. And, can you live with that? Nah, you wouldn't work again. I mean, you could kind of, you could go to ISO 5000, get a sharp picture, all that sort of stuff. It's, pushing up the ISO will exacerbate certain highlights in the background. And, she's competing. Now, she's not particularly vibrantly lit or anything like that. She's competing with all the other elements, namely you guys. Actually, I have to be honest with you. One of my missions up here today is to get rid of you guys. I mean, I don't mean physically leave. No, stop, sir, stop. Come on. But I have to kind of minimize your presence in this photograph and collect your attention up here. That's the kind of deal that I'm faced with. And I'm certainly not going to do that with an available light photograph. Now, if I put a flash on the camera, right, a TTL flash, TTL, BL, FP, all that sort of stuff. Now, that background's pretty bright. In aperture priority, what would you suggest I do? Underexpose it, right? By means of the exposure compensation button? Yeah? Okay, I'll just do it anyway. Thank you. Thank you for that strategy suggestion. That was awesome. Minus 1.3. All right. F5.6. Now, let's see how we do here. Let's just give this a wing. TTL flash photography. Okay. All right. Pretty decent. I think these screens are brighter. I noticed that earlier. Is she brighter there than she is there, right? Yeah, so I guess I'll have to choose which screen. This looks pretty good. I'll choose those. How's that? Okay. So anybody here use TTL flash photography regularly? You guys don't count over there with the Nikon badges. You guys don't count. Yeah, do you like it? Fun to do? How many folks don't trust TTL? Oh, all right. Well, we'll work at that, sir. Okay. Here's the thing. TTL, manual, it's all available to you. The technology is such that different things become appropriate at different times. So, here's the thing. I would suggest if you take a D850 and this amazing lens, 2470, and this flash that is a technological wonder, and you use them all on manual all the time because you don't trust it, that's like a little old lady who drives a Ferrari to church on Sundays. You gotta let this stuff out for a healthy romp, Okay, but have I done a good service to Ariane? Sorry, I think I told you earlier I was going to make a couple bad pictures. Did I mention? Oh, sorry. Flash on camera, right, dude? Not so good, right? But it's easy to kind of fuss around with. I can the nice thing about the idea of all of this is like you've got touch tone control. Let me just make sure I'm going in the plus direction. If I go +1, she's immediately going to get brighter, right? Okay. Was that hard? No, I adjusted the exposure by touching the dials, I need a minute, I'm exhausted. The thing is, folks, you gotta have fun while you're doing this sort of stuff. If you don't have fun doing it, what's the point? I've been doing this now. I've been a professional, I allowed myself the title of professional photographer a long time ago, 1978 to be exact. So, and here's the beautiful thing. I chose this properly, or it chose me somehow. I'm still in love with the sound of the shutter. I still love those moments behind the camera when your heart just about stops because you know you got what you come for. That is a really special feeling, okay? So, let's keep going. All right. Am I doing okay on my pace? Am I all right? All right. Not driving people too crazy. All right, because I've had a lot of caffeine today, plus I'm from New York, so I have a tendency to talk too fast. All right, so that's a flash on camera. That kind of like, right? You know? All right. So now I'm messing around with aperture priority. What is one of our main jobs as a photographer on location? Minimize uncertainty, right? Try to grapple with things in a very positive way that you know you can discern the results. Now, if I move this camera around in aperture priority, it's going to vary a little bit, right? That shutter speed is going to move up and down. So one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to drain out my exposure content here, and I'm going to switch over into manual. Now, if I'm in manual, I know what the deal is. So if I go 250 at 5.6 on manual out this way, all right, this is doable, perhaps. Let's see. Okay, I'm still gonna have to find something here to throw. We'll work it out. All right, Andrew, why don't we go with one of the little Speedlight boxes and a boom pole and a Group A flash, and we are green and green. Okay, not quite yet. Turn this puppy on. Group A, TTL, all right. That's a good thing. All right, let's see. Now, I think Andrew is doing this intuitively. Why would we come with a camera right light for Ariana? The part in her hair kind of opens up that side of her face a little bit more to accept the light. If I bring the light from the other side, there's a chance she might get a little bit of shadowing from her beautiful hair that's coming down this way. So I'm gonna start off on this side. Call me crazy, but we'll give it a try. All right, Ariana, if you could give me your best, most wonderful, incredibly exotic model look. You're gonna have to spin your shoulders a little bit towards Andrew. Andrew, wrap around. Cool, I'm gonna off balance her a little bit, put her off in this direction. I've got a little bit of my Speedlight box in the photograph up in this corner. I don't suggest you do that, but you know, that was Andrew's fault. You know, so he just, you know, I mean, what can I say? You know, let's open up. Let's introduce some background. Beautiful, lovely. 60th of 5.6. Now that will open up my background. She's responding a little bit, but you know, what happened earlier, when we saw this with Tamara, she threw a light in the background because this is going very, very dark. We'll get around to it. Let's see what happens. Now, this, you know, let's face it. This is not the proper light for Ariana. This is kind of a character-driven light, right? Can I ask you a favor?
Yes.
Could you trade positions with Andrew? I'm gonna ask you to hold the light and he's gonna come here. All right? Come on over here. I know that's very easy to do in a dress like that. It's gonna give you the light. There we go. All right. Now, turn this way. All right. All right. Now we got to kind of orient this towards his face. All right, cool. Have you ever been a grip before on a set? Yeah, it's kind of fun, right? All right. Now let's see, TTL00. All right. Give me your best dude face. Nice. Kind of works better for him, right? There's a thing called masculine light and feminine light. I'm not being sexist there. It just is. You know, are you gonna, you know, for a hard, edgy light, are you going to take that and light, you know, the grandmother of the year? No, not at all. You have to adapt your light to your subject. You're done, actually, as a grip. You're fine now. You can go back to being the subject, all right? Now, how could I possibly kind of work this out for Ariana? We're going to go to a bigger light source eventually, but let's see if we can mess around with a couple of these Speedlight 2 boxes. And let's do an underlight for her. Let's do a quick underlight. Okay, everybody comfortable with that? Could somebody help me with that? Hold a light for me. You want to do that? You're awesome. Come on up. What's your name, please? Stephanie? Come on up. Yep. All right. Okay, pressure's on, Stephanie. All right. No, you can't stand over there. That's going to look terrible. Okay, so I'll tell you what. I'm not going to turn your light on right now. Why don't you fade back just for a second? Let's get a good exposure here. Let's bounce a little exposure into that box. Let's go +1. All right. And now kind of look off to the side in dramatic fashion. Beautiful, beautiful. Lovely. Okay, so now we have a little bit of edge going on. Now let's come back to a little bit straighter. Okay, cool, cool, beautiful. Ah, I knew I'd get a smile eventually, you know. Lovely. Now, Stephanie, you need to come in here and hover in here, okay? That's awesome. I didn't even have to ask you to do that. Now, is that a Group B light, Andrew? All right, is it green? Are we?
It's green. We're good.
We're good. I'm going to turn on Group B, always a handy thing. Turn your flash on, okay? All right, let's keep that up in there. That's got a little grid in it, which is a nice thing. We're kind of, Andrew, come a little more wrapped in here. Beautiful, beautiful. Nice. All right. All right, so now we have a little bit of low glow going on, right? And that might be a little too strong. If you notice, could you show the folks this and that, Andrew? See what's happening with these two boxes? The bottom one, there's a grid in it. Sometimes we call them it's a fabric grid. Sometimes we call them an egg crate. It kind of corrals and controls and columnates your light. So that comes up actually fairly nicely. I'm going to tone that low light down. Stephanie, by the way, you did very well. It was fantastic, you know. All right, so I'm going to go into my TTL controls. I'm going to take like a full stop out of that, and now it'll just be a little bit of a wink kind of a light. Beautiful, beautiful. You look absolutely lovely. Okay, so now there's just, you can see there's an influence of the low light because of the low catch light in the eye. And you can actually judge that from a distance. You can look and say, okay, strong, no, weak, weak. You can actually look at the orb of the eye, and that will give you a telltale sign. Now, could we switch off, please? Could we kill that light? Ariana, are you a fan of like soap opera or drama? Awesome, okay. So we're gonna switch that light. Stephanie, you're done. How about a round of applause for Stephanie? We're gonna take the gridded light and put it on the paint pole and change that light to Group A. Gonna kill Group B. And Group A will start off at 0, 0. Now, Ariana, what I'd love you to do is bring your hands and right up in here, and I want you to think of like being on stage, like at the end of Romeo and Juliet or something. Your lover has just died. You know, and I want you to look up and with a look of anguish. If you'd like to be verbal about it, I'm totally comfortable with that. Like if you'd like to scream at the light, that would be okay with me. You know, I'll scream with you. We can be embarrassed together. How's that? Okay, is that all right? Okay, all right, okay, all right. I'll give you a cue. 1, 2, 3, emotion. Okay, let's go kind of up and overhead there. Okay, all right, ready, ready. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Okay. There we go, there we go. Now, I've kind of isolated her, right? That's an isolated light. Imagine us being in a black studio. That light is hitting her and nothing else. Nothing else. Now, let's quickly, I've got 1 minute and 32 seconds left, which is more time than I've been given for certain Sports Illustrated covers. Let's do this. Let's take Group C, blue lights. Huh. Everybody all right? We good? Was this worth hanging at CES? All right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you. You guys are awfully kind, awfully kind. All right, so let's give those to folks in the audience. You have to give them back. Yep, Andrew, let's give it to this gentleman right here. And then we have to have a corresponding light over here. Let's give it to Gregory. Andrew's taking the roundabout. Gregory, right there. All right, you guys, you got to put a little effort into this. Please stand up. Jeez, I say, oh yeah, just sit here with the light, you know. Come on, you know, photography is hard work. All right, so that's a Group C. All right, always advantageous to turn Group C on. All right, so ready, ready, ready? Now point it right at her shoulders, guys, right at her shoulders. I'm gonna go like a little bit vertical here. Andrew's going to be up and overhead of her. Okay, now we're back to emotion here. All right, Andrew, come on, come on, come on. Ready? Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ah! All right, so now So now we got a little bit of, stage light going on, a little rim light there going on, Like, I think of things, when you have a subject in front of you, they are basically an actor or an actress on the stage that you are setting for them. That's why I use the low light. Simulates a footlight, right? Wing lights in the stage. You're creating drama. That's what you do when you speak with these lights, okay? I mean, I could go on. I'm already out of time, but I do have 128 gig cards. So you guys are really screwed because I actually gain energy during the course of these things. I just keep going. But I think the powers that be are looking at me and saying, time to go, Joe, time to go. All right, you guys been wonderful. Thank you for staying with us. And thanks to the Nikon booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe McNally. Again, you can have the opportunity to see this on NikonLive.com. Again, Joe will be back with a totally different presentation tomorrow. All new programs tomorrow as well. So